So I'm just going to say a few words about Pelagios. Hopefully this is not going to be too boring for too many of you. The point being that since we're holding this event, it might be useful to get a sense of a project that's already working in this space and the kinds of activity that we've been doing within it. And it might be a bit odd that I'm kind of giving this presentation. I feel a bit of an imposter since I do ancient Greek stuff, really. I read ancient Greek texts, so what am I doing up here talking about linked data? I think it's because if I can understand it, then anybody can. So the way I understand linked data is it's a way of connecting stuff online that has something in relation with each other, so something in common. And that can... So when I'm working in a kind of a textual field, there's not just text that I'm working on for understanding what's going on in ancient Greek culture, but there's a whole load of other information that's potentially interesting and useful for me. So archaeological information, material culture, archaeological sites, museum objects, all of this potentially is giving me a much broader context for enabling me to understand much better the particular text, the particular author that I'm working on. And linked data is a way of enabling me to link between these different kinds of resources and media. Now, what might this look like? So this is a kind of a flash forward into what we're doing with Pelagios, which is connecting online resources that have to do with place. So here we have a particular place that I might be interested in, Athens, and I type in Athens in a kind of a search bar, like a Google search bar, and I get a whole load of interesting information potentially about Athens that I can then explore further. Now the key point here is that we're not aggregating this information. This is showing me information that's available that I can then go and link through, click on and find out more information. And incidentally, there's a very nice map interface that we're using that's been provided by Johan Alfeld in the second row here. And one key aspect, probably the key aspect of the talk that I want to really emphasize is collaboration. Now, so what aren't we about? We're not the one ring to rule them all, as it were, because we're not about data aggregation. So you don't come to us because we've got the data. You curate the data, it's yours, and it's just a way of connecting between different data sets. So we're not a repository, and there's not a standard data model. We're connecting material through common references, and because we focus on places, that's how we're doing things, through a common schema on places. So this is a kind of the most technical slide that I've been given here. So this is, and it starts off with what I'm used to, a text. It's Herodotus, 5th century historian. I'm familiar with this, I'm comfortable. A couple of places are mentioned in this text. One is Athens and one is Sparta. And as a human reader, I instantly identify what these places are. Athens, Sparta, we're talking about classical Greece, we're talking about the 5th century. For a computer, that's much more challenging. A computer will read the string of characters, for example, Athens, A-T-H-E-N-S, and not comprehending what Athens we're talking about here. For example, in another context, the reference to Athens could be where REM are from, and that's potentially interesting for me, but not in the context of classical research. So what computers need, of course, are numbers. And the numbers here are supplied by basically a kind of authority file. For the classical world, this is an online gazetteer called Pleiades, and they supply a number for Athens, 579885, a kind of a social security number for Athens, as it were. And by annotating your data with this number, then you disambiguate, and we can start seeing what Athens, classical Athens, appear in different kinds of documents, whether we're talking about texts or images or databases. And Rainer will show you a kind of the minute when we started off with Pelagios, our data curators were providing this information. They were providing these tags in the data. Rainer has been working on a platform called Recogito, which he'll demonstrate to you in a second, which can allow anybody to do this, kind of do-it-yourself annotation. So you can start putting these hooks of metadata into your own data so that they can then join this network of linked data. And trust me, anybody can use it because I've been testing it. So, and I can kind of understand how it works. So what's kind of going on under the hood here? You can imagine this as two different kinds of knowledge communities. You've got Pleiades, remember this gazetteer of the ancient world that specializes in ancient places. It has lots of information about those ancient places and often links between those ancient places. You also have a community of ancient world resources, which I might be contributing to with some scholarship and talking about particular texts or other kinds of cultural artifacts. And Pelagios is a way, how this is working with putting those links, these hooks into your data, is a way of joining together these different knowledge communities. So now, potentially, I can find interesting patterns in links between places through the documents I'm looking at, or indeed interesting, if I'm looking at particular places, finding out documents that are related to those places. So this is now improving the way that I can do research, is giving me more potential for thinking about the kinds of material that I'm working on. And finally, and really this is why I'm here, I think, as much as we're going to now be demonstrating a kind of a technological platform, a way of do-it-yourself annotation. So technological development is a fundamental part of Pelagios. Really as important, if not more important, is the community development. And I've already implied that by drawing attention to Johann's map that we've been using, the fact that Pleiades is a glue for the system regarding the ancient world, material and linking resources of the ancient world. But now we're branching out and beyond the ancient world, which kind of makes me a bit nervous to move into kind of AD times, not just BC, and applying this way of connecting different kinds of resources to other knowledge communities. So not just the ancient Greek and Roman world, but the Byzantine, Islamic world, the maritime world, even, God forbid, the modern world. And the community development here is I think, really key to the way that Pelagios can work, and really an event like this is a performance, I think, of that community. So really looking forward to the conversations that we're going to be having, meeting a lot of you that I've been in exchange with online, and it should be a lot of fun. And I'll pass you over now to Rainer, who will do you the kind of the proper the technological development side of Pelagios. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Actually, it's not so much a proper technical walkthrough, but rather a short commercial break now for the technical platform that we've been working on over the past couple of months. As Elton has said, we have done quite a bit of manual work in the beginning of making those annotations and started to develop our own software continuously to make it easier and faster for us as a project and as a project team. During the last months, we have started to rewrite and revise this software to turn it into a tool that basically everybody can use. And today marks the official day where we want to actually publish it and launch it. It's been around for some time, and some people have done already quite exciting things. I'll show a few examples just in a few seconds. But basically what you should take away, if you have an interest in trying out this tool, it's online now, you can try it out. recogito.pelagios.org. Take a look and play with it. So that's just a splash page. That's what you see when you go to the address. I hope you find your way. There's a nice tutorial, and you can just sign up for an account, try it out. And I don't think you can break anything. If you do break anything, then it's our fault anyway, and I will be responsible to fix it. So it's a good thing if you manage to break it. Just some impressions, I guess. It's an annotation tool, so you can upload your own text. So once you have your text uploaded, you can go through the text, make notes, tag places, assign them to gazetteers. So it's a really rapid process, but essentially just exactly the process that Elton has just explained. You can also do this for images. So it has sort of light image annotation functionality where you can draw shapes on images. The annotation box pops up. And again, you can do transcription, notes, and most importantly, again, you can make those gazetteer assignments. So a few examples of what our test users have done during sort of the alpha testing stage. Those links are a little bit difficult to remember, I guess, but I will tweet them afterwards. So these are just some examples of things that people have worked on basically tagging up texts, places in texts. As soon as you tag up the text, the tool will already provide you with a map view of that as well, so you have to sort of integrate it in the process. You can see some people are quite keen on creating densely annotated documents. Well, yeah, some people don't know when to stop, I think. So. But what this screenshot shows is, I think I really like this because there's really experimentation going on what you can do beyond just tagging up places. So this is more about annotating the structure of the text, the structure of the narrative, not necessarily just the place and doing just the gazetteer assignments, but really using annotation as a way to read the text in different ways. So this is also something where we're really keen on gathering input on what other features and what kind of extension in the future people would like to see. More examples, as I think we've mentioned before, we had a project where we did a lot of in-house annotation. So these are some examples of documents that we have worked with in our previous project, which we are now migrating into the new system to basically show what has been done. So this is a Portland chart, so a nautical chart from the late Middle Ages. There's been lots of work done by Kat Crossley from the British Library on transcribing those maps and making those gazetteer matches. So there's really, I think also, if you just want to browse and look what's in there, there's already quite interesting and exciting content in there. Or the Goff map, that's also something that Damien Bove, a colleague of us, has done in the Pelagius 3 project. So we're in the process of migrating sort of all those documents we've worked on into the new system so that they can be showcased a bit more easily. Yeah, finally, that's the link I want to leave you with. So if you want to just take a 10-minute tour and see what the tool does, visit this link and you get a small tutorial which basically outlines what it can do. And once you're through with the tutorial, I think you're ready to explore for yourself. And afterwards, there's also a user forum on the Commons website where Elton has shown a screenshot. So this is also the place where you can get in touch with us, give us feedback, report problems, report requests and wishes for the future. Okay, thank you.